So
The mic was off. I'm not doing it well enough because the mic was off. We just talked about how that little
yes,
thing, and you were talking, you didn't
and
even see it.
I can't.
I
see
looked
it.
up and saw it.
Yeah, I can't see it from where
Because the mic
from
was
where I
off,
was
and I
sitting.
didn't even hear it in the headset too. Well,
Well,
we're back on now,
Okay,
so I'm doing my technical job.
wonderful. So
Mhm.
once again, I'll back up.
I'm the coach,
It's kind of like a rewind.
counselor, the
Yes,
partner, lover, and I also be the technical guy in the background.
you're the
I'm every man. It's
absolutely
all in me.
yes, the jack of everything.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I don't cook flapjacks.
No, that's my
That's
job.
yours.
Yes, my
Anyway.
responsibility.
Mhm.
Um, once again, this jack of all things over here is Imar
I
or
just don't get
Craig.
any respect. I mean, seriously, I just don't get any
You
kind of
and
respect.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Exactly. No respect.
Yes, and so he is doing his thing over here, doing our thing over there,
Mm-hmm.
and I am Sharon or Zare, depending on how you know us. You know what to call us. We're taking the journey together. We're also couples coaches. Mind at Rest coaching
Mm-hmm.
is what we're known for. So you can um, contact us if you need coaching in your relationship. And I'm going to start off with our vision statement. It says, we are going to relate. It doesn't matter what your mother, father, sister, brother, children, or even what Jesus says, we are going to relate. We get the idea that we can be friends, but we can't be lovers, or we can be lovers, but we can't be friends. And therefore, we make the decision to marry our lovers, but not our friends. At taking the journey together, we feel the need to relate in a balanced way. And what we mean by that is since we already believe that our best friend can be our best lover, then we look at taking the friendship and sharing on one side and the lover and sexual compatibility on the other side, and then together working towards creating thriving relationships or what we call healthy relationships. So, what do you think about that? He's still focused on what he's got to be focused on. So, I'm going to continue.
Yeah,
As
for
just as
some reason, I'm not I'm not able to get into Messenger
Mhm.
and look at our program for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
And this is just like what we were talking about earlier, that I don't talk a lot,
Mm.
and usually I when I talk, it is because I am following through on something that somebody else has said,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm um, you know, I may start a conversation, but I leave it to others to carry that on. I'm
Yeah,
just a generally quiet person.
that's not at work. You're not, so that's not
Well,
true.
at work, it's a whole
That's
different
just
thing.
there's
Yeah.
hey, now you sound just like the politics and politicians today, especially on the right side, that when there's another situation, it's another situation.
Mhm.
Why, yeah, but principles cross all situations.
Yes.
They don't in turn decide when it comes to a principle to stop being that principle just because it's another situations.
Exactly.
Principles are standards, laws that in turn exist in the universe that keep everything all in harmony,
Mhm.
period. That's
Yes.
including the balanced relationship. So if you have certain integrity principles, you practice them in all situations. You don't decide to be one way at one time, you decide to be another way at another time, because then you're just following a chameleon pattern that politicians, follow, like we have the ones today. And you end up not knowing when you're going to tell the truth, and you're most of the time trying to hide behind lies. So no, you don't do that.
Yeah. And
That's how I feel about it.
yeah, that's acceptable. But I don't like talking a lot, even though my job requires it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what we do too much. We allow our jobs to be our determination of who we are because of the thing called finances and money. We
Mhm.
wonder why young kids run after that idea of I got to get paid, and yet when it comes to their integrity principles of how they treat one another, including you, they're very opportunist. They really don't care about you in
True.
detail because of the fact that they carry no principles
Right.
whatsoever. And we really actually have taught them that way with that kind of mind thought that you have.
Hmm. That is true.
You can't have a balanced relationship if you, in turn, are not based on some kind of integrity principles that you carry with you in all areas in life that you do. You can't
Yeah.
build trust, one thing is for sure, if in turn you're switching all the time. You really can't. What do
You
you think?
cannot.
No, I didn't think
You
so.
cannot. Because trust needs some stability.
Trust
Yes.
is the very foundation and glue of stability.
Mhm.
And this leads right into our show.
Yes.
Today, we're going to be talking about the weight of recognition of breaking false balances in Black love. And we're
Mhm.
going to talk about us today because many times in our relationship, in our Black love, we don't keep consistencies. We don't keep integrity principles in all that we do. We in turn switch up. We have a way how we think and how we act at church. We have a way in how we think when it comes to at the job. We have a way in how we think
Mhm.
in turn when it comes to our kids,
Right.
and so on and so forth. And I mean, I could give you at least something that you would understand, since you're a poet kind of person, is the one that Langston Hughes, I think, made up. And I think I could be wrong. It says that we wear the mask that what?
That grin and bears, that was Council.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? Does it we're near what I'm trying to describe what I said?
Yeah. It says that in society sometimes we have to be who we're not. We have to feign comfort when we're not comfortable, but that fake comfort is to satisfy somebody else.
And
In other words, you go
I'm
along to
sorry.
get along.
And the reality is we don't have to.
Right.
We don't have to. Society gives that perception.
Mhm.
Yet when you look at today's particular political arm that's in now, I'm trying to keep from saying regime that's in now.
Yeah.
One of the things that people love about this person is because of the fact they're supposed to be so transparent up front. And yet they're not at all. They're always telling a lie when it comes
Yes.
right down to it. But the perception is I can be transparent and be upfront all the time. And that's a principle. That's an integrity principle that I like, because of the fact that I can always trust where you're coming from because the words that come out of your mouth. Well,
Yeah.
hey, that ain't necessarily true. And relationships don't necessarily roll that way. Balanced relationship does.
Yeah.
So we got to break the falseness. That's what we'll be talking about.
Mhm.
That we put a lot of falseness in our relationships to say that we're in a balanced relationship, and we really are not.
Right.
We really are not. So let's go ahead and start with that, because we're already, going off on so many other fragile
Mhm.
ends, frazzled in. Go ahead,
Yes.
please.
The first.
I'm still working on this.
Yeah. The first segment that we're going to do, because as you know, now we do things in segments. So the first segment and is naming the pressure. But
We've got a couple of people that already been chiming
yeah,
in. Who's
before
that?
let's see, what am I doing here? We've got Araya Scott. Hello.
Mhm.
And we have David Banner.
Mr. David Banner.
Yep, loving it. And we have Mark Holly. Glad you joined us. So, yes, we are starting off there, but we also want you to know that our first segment is called Naming the Pressure.
Naming the pressure.
Naming the pressure. And the examples that we give, or the voices that we give, that is just that. It is an example. There could be something else that is the pressure that is in your relationship. And so use this as a guide, not as the end all and be all. This is a guide and a diagram of how to handle
I knew we knew you had to come in to say that, because of the fact that you feel uncomfortable with many times of trying to practice a balanced relationship, because some of your belief systems that you came out of, just as you said, I act a certain way at the job, or act a certain way at in my relationship. No, we're not trying to in turn try to teach something how it shouldn't be. We'll teach something how ultimate it should be. It's an idea that we should be. It's the dream this country is trying to move to in the first place. We as the world are trying to move to from that standpoint. True unity, true balance from that end. All that other stuff is lower energy. And quite frankly, the way things look right now, people are already operating mostly in lower energy. Even that much worse.
Absolutely.
We just had a killing not too long ago in Minnesota. And they're keeping the idea that in turn we can't basically what you call what's what not pigeonhole, but in turn determine that we know that it's mostly white young men who are doing that.
Right.
And want to give the perception that that doesn't exist. So we don't really go out of our way to make sure that we have some kind of degree of defense with that. But yet on the other side, we have the National Guard and others in DC who are stopping young black folks all the time, as it's been in our community. And
Right.
you have stats that come out and say openly that it's black people that do most of the come on, you know
The
what I'm talking
violence.
about. The violence and stuff, which is
Mhm.
crap.
Yes.
No.
Commit
That
no
shadow
further
stuff
crime.
has to stop.
Yes.
In our relationship, we have to stop that shadow stuff. We got to
Mhm.
break those falsehoods
Yeah.
and walk in the truth of the matter. The truth of the
Absolutely.
matter, the balance of love comes through Ubuntu. And Ubuntu says, I am because we are. If you want someone to be open and honest with you and transparent to you, then you have to be the example too. Maybe I don't have to make. No, it's not
No.
going to work that way.
Exactly.
It won't be balanced. If you do operate that way, then you're not going to be balanced. If you are trying to be what you call more exclusive from the standpoint, or is it inclusive? Which one is that you act the way you want? If
Exclusive.
you want to be exclusive and act the way you want to, then you can't expect someone to be balanced back with you. You
Right.
can't demand someone to be balanced back with you if you are being exclusive in the matter.
Right.
You, in turn, would want someone to treat you how you are what? Being treated.
Mhm. Yes. So as we go into the first segment, we look at this, and the man may say, what happens when I'm always the one who has to say, let's talk or let's pray? That's not balance. It's a burden. And it should not be
No.
one way. It, quite often it is the woman who says, we need to talk. But generally when it's, we need to talk, it's not something good that's going on. There's a problem.
Yeah, most brothers out there know about, boy, my woman's getting ready to say something to me. We need to talk. First thing we talk, first thing we think is, something I did wrong.
Yeah.
Something I didn't do right.
Yes. And that, we've got to change that. And sometimes if we say we need to talk, maybe we should not just say we need to talk. Instead, we say, I've been thinking about the vacation. We need to talk.
Yeah.
Or, that way you take all the angst away from it. Or you say, you did this, that, or the other that I'm not real happy about. We need to talk about it.
Yeah.
At least your partner know where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, because many times if that happens, if it's a male situation, dumping it on us, that's just fine. At first time we're thinking, well, now it's a we.
Yeah.
Now it's a we thing. Before it was I not doing something right, but now it's a we thing all of a sudden. So no, that's an imbalanced statement right there. It really is.
Yeah. And so that way you are definitely taking this to the point where you're keeping it, you're taking it out of the dark, and you're letting them know up front what's going on. Because as long as you are cryptic with what you want to talk about, then you have that gray area where you don't know what is coming. The other person doesn't know what's coming, whether it's the male saying it or the female saying it. You don't know what's coming. The let's pray, that's a statement all in itself that says we need to get on the same page. Whether it's let's talk, let's pray, the let's means we're in this together and we need to deal with this together, or we need to do this together. The other side to that is, a woman may say, what happens when I feel like my voice isn't heard unless I carry the load, initiate the talk, or step up first? That's not freedom.
I'm going
That's
to throw
fatigue.
in, because she's not here, though we miss Sister Latina. We go back and forth. She's like our little sister. We're like a big brother and big sister. So I always said last time she was talking to us about something, we won't get into detail, about losing your breath. Your life is in your breath. Now, some people say your life is in your blood. but she said your life is, or your essence is in your breath.
Mhm.
So that particular statement that you just got to say is basically saying that I feel like my worth and my value
Mhm.
is not being heard
Yes.
from that end. Well, as you just said, that's a two-way street. Many men have been in situations
Exactly.
in terms with their, especially when I've seen men from down south where they'd be seen but not heard. So they feel like their breath is not at all worth being said or valued in a
Mhm.
relationship.
Yeah.
Sad to say, in the community traditionally from the past, talking about traditional stuff, many black men's were not at all valued.
Right.
Period. Their physical work, doing things physically for them,
Mhm.
and plantation owners and all so forth. But if they said anything really at all, then they could be in trouble or could be
Absolutely.
killed.
Absolutely. Or as they say now, disappeared.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And a lot of that has gone on.
It's worse
But
when it's in a relationship and feels like you're disappeared.
mhm.
And many of your sisters out there know that, and many brothers feel that same way in the relationship. Feel like they're visible, not valued
Right.
from that end. But
Right.
anyway, let's keep going on.
Yes. The reflection that we see in this is that both partners can end up in roles that um, they didn't consciously choose,
Mm-hmm.
and always the and always the protector, or always the fixer, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you don't necessarily do that. And when in a relationship and you're always the this or you're always the that, you don't have the balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're always something, then you're not sharing. That whatever it is not being shared. And so you still need to find that balance,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but without the recognition or the effort, one or the other begin to feel invisible, or both partners
Mm-hmm.
can feel invisible when it comes to different things because they're not being valued
Yes.
or openly valued. Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to fix something. And something doesn't seem to be coming on someplace else, but some people are still watching anyway. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. So so do you have anything else you want to add right in there?
In our last particular segment that we're in. What segment
Yeah.
are we in again?
We are in the naming the pressure.
The what?
Naming the pressure.
Oh, wow. Where you are. A
Yeah.
little bit behind. We need to kind of move a little bit faster.
Yes.
So our next one is her lens, generational context.
Yes.
Cool.
Um,
Teaching point. Many professional black women carry generational memories where men were absent, silent, and stripped of their power. Independence became survival, not just what?
preference.
Preference. That
Yes.
was kind of a little bit of what I was talking about before.
Yes. Where men you know, in life, men in a lot of places have been really black men
Mm-hmm.
have been put in situations where they have not been valued, they have not been heard, they have not been put in a position where they have any power, any strength. And it's been a situation where it's been pitted male against female, black
Mhm.
male against black female, or black
Mhm.
female against black male,
Mm-hmm.
all for the lack of movement or growth of both genders. You know, and so, you know, an example of that is a grandmother may have led because her husband was barred from jobs, or a mother may have raised kids alone because her partner was incarcerated, or you know, the opportunity for jobs to help out
Mm-hmm.
were not there. You know, there were situations where over centuries the male has had to go someplace else to earn a living,
Mm-hmm.
to try to send something back to sustain the family. But why would you break up a family when they can be together and work together if it was not for the destruction of that relationship? And that relationship has not found a way to survive.
Mm.
Even today, generationally.
Well, we could
it
talk
hasn't
about
been
all
able
of
to.
the dark shadow sides, the one that you see a lot pushed
Mhm.
through Tyler Perry,
Yeah.
he may look like he's a black knight in shiny armor. I'm going to say it that
Mhm.
way. Okay. But at the end, he's really nothing but a scoundrel. He's nothing but a liar,
Yeah.
hustler.
Yeah.
And he's got another woman on the side, and
Yeah.
usually ends up
All the-
every time that way.
All the stereotypes.
Exactly. And so,
Yes.
so that's the reason why the grandmother or the woman has to keep reins and control over him, because of the fact that he ain't no good in the first place.
Yeah.
From that end. So it breeds that kind of mind thought. It breeds that kind of what's one word, template,
Mhm.
that in turn, because the power of movies and the power of images, which is what this country lives by anyway, and quite
Yes.
frankly, nothing's real in the first place from a spiritual
Mhm.
point of view. It's nothing but mostly an image anyway.
Right.
Then people just believe that image. That is that image. That is that so.
Mhm.
And so many times in a relationship, just like sometimes a male will think that a black woman will never be understandable. She'll never be someone to be a
Mhm.
friend,
Yeah.
period. And turn carry that in their next relationships. Then the same way that you see many times many black men are under that same kind of concept. You're nothing but a scoundrel. You're not but a liar. You're nothing but a thief. You're nothing but a monster, so on and
Yeah.
so forth. And it may not be upfront and dynamic as young people are pushing it, but it could be something that's in the back of their mind as a subconscious state that's being pushed and comes out in so many different subtle ways from that end. And that, of course, is not a balanced way in the relationship. But many times we're adopted and say that's black love.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Which goes back to the basic premise of what taking the journey together teaches, and that is friendship. If you become friends with that man or that woman from the very beginning, and you build that friendship, you know who they are. You
Mhm.
know that this person is not the stereotypes that we have been raised to believe, the stereotypes that we
Mhm.
have been told are how we really are and how we need to be. We know that. And so if that's the case, if you become friends, you dispel all of that right up front. And you don't end up with this reflection that a woman might have that says, even with a good man today, I still carry the reflex that I must lead or no one will.
Mhm.
Because you've set the parameters, you've set the guidelines that in your relationship with this good man,
Mhm.
you are going to share the load. And he has done the same thing. He has made the commitment that with this good woman, he's going to share the load. And so you go into a balance, because from friendship, you
Mhm.
learned the qualities of the person that you're getting.
Mhm. Yes. What we have here is reflection.
Yeah.
I don't want to what? I don't want it just to be the engine that powers the car.
Mhm.
I want to be invited to share
The
the
map.
map.
Yeah.
Now we know out there are many sisters who listen and said there are men who have not did that. I know of too many testimonies, even some we personally now who have had men who definitely say you don't share no map. You're not even going to be in the back seat. Come to think of it, from that particular end.
Yeah.
You might be able to sit on my lap once in a while, but that's how it's going to go. And yet, at the same time, there's always that flip side. There are other relationships where, especially today, where there are sisters who are treating males that way, treating brothers that way, that same way. Both are not a balanced relationship,
Right.
and both at the end can't be called a true, sincere, balanced black love relationship.
Right.
It is not.
Right. And that's another thing that we have to make sure that we steer away from, is falling into the stereotypes and making sure that our stereotypes, the things that we have embedded in our minds, whether it's up front or in the back of our minds, but those things that we have heard again and again and again that have affected us about this is how women are, this is how men are. We've got to dispel those for us and stop looking for the negative or the worst in our partner. Why would you choose somebody if they have no positive qualities? So that's the first thing that we have to dispel. I chose this person for a reason. So why am I focused on all of their negative attributes, or some of them that I just see as negative and may not even be there?
Exactly.
But it's that societal piece that helps us to see that, this is what it is. And that's where that that transparency is truly a smokescreen.
Yeah, I think sometimes we work too hard in a relationship because of the fact that we are always trying to be something that we're not, only
Mhm.
because of outside conscious tapes through our lifestyle, which doesn't necessarily jurisdict what is right is wrong, but yet we're just producing anyway, and we
Yes.
don't see that the results of that in a balanced way
Mhm.
doesn't come out really being a balance at all. It's one of
Right.
those things where I say two wrongs still don't make you right.
Exactly. Exactly.
From that particular. And sometimes our old guy used to say, you sometimes have to have the wisdom to know that even if you're right in a relationship, sometimes you may want to in turn say you're wrong. Because what do you
Mhm.
want? You want to be right, or do you want a relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're moving on. We're getting ready to go to whoa, real quick. Our break is coming up here. Real
Wow,
quick
it is.
before we move on. So if you want to go ahead and move on, and then we'll come back and talk about it a little bit more.
Sure. Let's do that. Let's
Next particular segment after we come back.
yeah, let's do the next segment.
Mhm.
Let's do the next segment then.
Okay, we'll be right back. Hang on, folks. Stay together.
Hello, world. We're here, serving Savannah, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Brooklyn, Houston, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and the world. The best music all the time. The greatest songs ever made, every time. Tune in to Hot 2100 Savannah and get a taste for your ears. Hot 2100 Savannah, serving Savannah and the world.
When it comes to the city, I'm the key. Gotta go to court in the morning for a plea. What you gotta pay to get, I hit that for free. And when I'm in the streets, yeah, I gotta tote that heat. It's hard for you to touch it, cause I stay up out of reach. Talking about ends dirty, I'ma make 'em meet. I've been down too long, I'd be damn if I don't eat. If you want someone to try, I'd be damn if it's me. I see why you mad, you ain't swaggin' like this.
Hey there! Are you ready to amplify your voice and embrace your passion? Tune in to Our Black Media Network, where every story matters. We're here 24/7, delivering powerful content on everything from financial literacy to the latest in sports and mental health. We are unapologetically real, reflecting the heartbeat of our community with programs that inspire, empower, and drive change. Join us on all major media platforms to celebrate our unique voices and advocate for the change we want to see. With over 50K monthly viewers, our network is your go-to destination for authentic, engaging content. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of the change. Tune in to Our Black Media Network today and let your voice be heard.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
We're back. We got caught. Hey, I know you like my shirt. That's my favorite.
Boondocks.
The Boondocks. The grandpapa's someplace in here. I don't know where he's at, but he kind of reminds me of me. I don't cuss as much as he does, at least not on the show. But
I was going to say.
from that end, but
Really?
he was something. Huey and Dewey. No,
Yeah.
Huey and
What was the
I
other
forgot
one's
his brother's name. Anyway.
Um,
If anybody say we needed to have the Boondocks come back again, I think that we should have the Boondocks.
yes.
Anyway, let's talk a little bit about us. We didn't give our usual telephone number and stuff that people have called. Not enough of you people call. I mean, I don't be scared of us, and we got good things to tell you. You don't have to be scared.
Yes.
And we're certainly not going to steer you wrong from that particular end, but we will steer you right. And we're going to give you some tough love too at the same time. especially if you want to move to better your relationship
Mhm.
and expand your relationship. You take the struggle at your job to learn more. You take your struggle to be able to maybe be your own gardener in your yard because you want to be more self-sufficient. Anything that you want to do better in your life, you're going to take the sacrifice, the change in your life, so that in turn you could do better. And you know that's just part of growth. You ought to think the same thing about your relationships too. In fact, I would think that's even that much more that you should be thinking about it in a relationship. And us as being people of color, Black folks especially, where this society is going and kind of forcing us many times that we shouldn't exist, we even that more have to be that more on top of us and on top of what we're doing together, and be power couples to be able to exist for our next generation, let alone how we are existing now. We don't have time to be thinking that we should be less in that particular matter. And I'm not talking about not to make your money and build business, but I'm talking about how you're making who you are from the inside with the partner that you're with. How are you and moving together in that particular matter and make it a strong bond to be able to move forward? Because I don't think things are going to get better if you ask me from that end. What do you think?
I don't think
looking.
so
Not
either.
soon.
No,
Not soon. Not soon.
it isn't.
No,
It isn't.
No. And hey, this,
Um,
go. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, we were talking about that in my class today. We have Hot Topic Thursday, and
Don't forget to get our number up there: 786-763-1324. I'm
yes,
sorry.
me too. Me too. I got caught up in what you.
I know it. That's why I had to say something real quickly.
And they were talking about how social media, the negativity per se of social media is designing how young people act today and what they see as normal. So they're normalizing certain negative behaviors and certain negative attitudes and ideology because it is what's prevalent on social media. And so because of that, and the fact that it's destructive rather than constructive, that you see a lot of relationships, parenting, family situations, they're looking to go in a negative direction. As one young lady said, they're forcing or people are being forced to only get examples of negative energy or that low level energy. And so they're going down to that low level energy. And unfortunately, that's bringing it into relationships also. And so that's why it's very important for you to get somebody that you can talk to and sort things out. You can reach us at takingthejourneytogether@gmail.com or call us at 786-763-1324.
Yeah, we'll leave that up there too for your who would like to talk. Never think that in turn you can know everything when it comes to relationships, but you can know a lot of things.
Yes.
And one thing is for sure when it comes to your relationship, when it comes to wanting to know all things, I didn't say everything, all things. Yeah, you should be wanting to move that way because that's part of growth, is wanting to know all things. And you know that if you have that godliness in you of a spirit in the body, then you know that you have the right to know all things when it comes to your relationship and that other individual that you care about. Quite frankly, you can't turn to know everything because you're still every day learning something.
Absolutely. Or at least you should be.
It should be. It's a lifetime recognition, hopefully, if you stay together with that person for a lifetime. It's a lifetime things to understand about that person, not only from the past, but what you'll create on the spot and you'll create in the future. Other things you're going to learn using different principles, Sankofa principle, Ubuntu principle. So, hey, all that can be encompassed, all of that we can in turn as a being be able to know and at the same time be able to handle. But at the same time, I should say, at the same time, it's handled much better when it's handled in a balanced way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Two people can handle it a whole lot better than one.
And create much more than what one person could do.
Yes.
So our next one is we were moving too slow.
Yes.
Is our segment is called The Deeper Wound. Talking about something deep that we're talking about. You want to start that one?
Yes. For him, it feels like recognition. Recognition is stolen. He sacrifices, but his presence disappears once her needs are met. So, in other words, he feels used. He feels like he's just just a pawn.
Just an image.
Yeah.
How many people in the relationships or in a relationship right now, they're feeling used? They feel like they're just an image, a
Yeah.
caricature.
Yeah.
Anybody can take your place
Exactly.
from that particular end.
Exactly.
You don't feel personal. You don't feel special. There's nothing about you that really feels like that if you were not there, this person would really miss you. Really,
No.
in so many words. In fact, while you're there, you feel like you're invisible too at the same time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that can happen in a relationship whether it's a male or a female.
Mhm.
Though there's up to this time, traditionally it's been mostly said that a woman or a female has been in that position of relationship,
Yes.
but not today, not this
Right.
time. It doesn't happen just that way
Mhm.
this time. It's both sides, and
Right.
both are wrong.
Right. And
Two wrongs don't make that right.
absolutely. And she may say that, for her, she may unconsciously project past disappointments, where the things that have happened to her in the past are there, and she's projecting those even though she doesn't realize it. Treating him like a man who failed her through her lineage, through her relationships, while also relying on him to carry what those men never did.
Yeah.
So she wants him to do for her what has never happened before.
Exactly. We hear that sometimes where there's some females who will try to have their sons be like the man that they really wanted or wish they had, imagine they had, but none of the boyfriends and stuff. Even maybe the father never was that way, so they push that on the sons to be that man of the house, and it makes them grow up too fast. I remember the show
and too one-sided.
Exactly. I remember the show called Crash, which is an unbelievable movie. If you haven't seen the movie before, you need to watch this movie called Crash.
Yes.
I remember the portion where Don Cheadle, a very, very, very good actor. In fact, he was born in the same city that you lived in.
Yeah, Denver.
In Denver. I always wish I could meet that brother one day. But anyway, he played
in Montbello.
Exactly. He played a position where he was a detective. And his detectiving, he also they showed his back life. I love the back lives.
The back stories were great,
unbelievable. And it was about his mom he was trying to take care of. But his brother, who played
Lawrence
Tate, who was the bad boy. He was, I don't even say black sheep. He just was someone that was his own man in his own way from that particular end, who ended up sadly being killed in a very uncomfortable manner. The bottom line is his mom, who was having Alzheimer's.
She was in a drunken stupor.
Well, no.
Yeah.
No, she was in Alzheimer's outside of. No, she had Alzheimer's. Okay. Sorry about that. She did. And when he would come visit her, in an elder folks' home, she would never remember him.
Right.
And he had to go through the process like I did with my mom, who had Alzheimer's, and you helped me very much in doing that he had to swallow his pride and say she no longer sees you as your son totally. Where she pretty much did to him in such a way where she split him up between him and his younger brother, Mr. Tate, who basically never came and saw her.
Right.
And she would actually say in front of him that this other person's son, being, her brother, would come visit her, bring her food and all that stuff. And he never did that.
Yeah.
He never did that. It was Don Cheadle. His character, he's the one that came. And every time she spoke at, in this one particular scene when she spoke at this time, and how it broke her heart, especially since he just went through the process of seeing his brother who was shot and murdered, if you remember that. And he came from that scene, didn't know it was him until he actually saw the cover take off of him. He then went to get some kind of consultation or consolence, what if you may want to call, to his mom, to let his mom know about it. And his mom just pretty much poo-hooed the whole thing and basically said, that's what happened when you don't come and take care of your brother. And that's what happened because your brother came and saw me all the time. And that was not something that was true at all. And it broke his heart. It broke his heart that his mom during that time thought more about that other brother who really never did anything for him. And he was there. Talk about him being invisible.
Yeah.
Talk about feeling like he didn't exist from that particular time. At that time, it was a very moving situation. And that to me is how sometimes we handle our relationships where someone doesn't exist, someone doesn't act like they until the other one is even there, and that betrayal is even easier to be perpetrated in that particular relationship. And maybe on the outside, people look at the relationship, they think they're going doing good, but the inside is not happening whatsoever at all that way. That move, if you want to see something that's good when it deals with that kind of relationship matter that happens in our community, you need to watch that. What do you think about that?
I agree. It's a very the backstories are what carry it, so that you get to understand what's really going on with everyone. And when you talk about the deeper wound in a relationship, the shared result is what should be a marriage becomes a contract.
Yes.
One drives, one rides.
Well, that when you think about it, you did make a contract. When the states came up with that idea, we actually signed a contract to a death till we part and put our names right on it, and did everything else to put it on paper.
Yes.
Talk about having a contract from that end.
Yes.
So she may unconsciously project the past disappointments, treat him like a man who failed her lineage, while also rely on him to carry what those men never did. Which you got to move on from that end.
Yeah.
Share results. What should be a marriage becomes a contract. One drive, one what?
Right.
One ride. Ooh, I hate to say that too, because some of our young people say, I need a ride and die what?
Ride or die chick.
Chick. Yeah. Wow. They didn't
That's
even
still-
understand what that meant.
And
but
that's
being
still
pushed now.
still one-sided,
Yeah, it is.
because it's what he needs as opposed to what they need together.
Exactly. I think they were trying to make a balance out of it, but it became imbalanced, really.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to move on to the next segment. What's our next segment we're talking about?
The urban shaman lands, which teaches these are not just personal habits;
Mhm.
they're ancestral agreements. And
Say
ancestral.
that again. I think that's very important to be heard.
They're not just personal habits; they're ancestral agreements. And so, the patterns for that is when Black men are silenced, Black women have to lead alone.
And it ain't good
No,
to be led alone by yourself.
exactly.
Really, it's not.
Yeah.
You were not, and we were not made to be in this world alone. We are
Yes.
made in this world to be able to share and to relate to one another, whether it's in a marriage situation or not. We are made to be able to do that. And I don't care if you want to take the route to be a nomad. You're going to share with the horses, the cows, the dogs, the insects, nature around
And
you.
everybody else who's
Thank
moving
you.
with you.
We are created as beings to share.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, we are like the dust of the stars in the sky, because we're all connected one way or the other,
Yeah.
which is what the Ubuntu principle is all about. But go ahead.
And when you think about it, the idea of alone and relationship, that's an oxymoron in itself.
Yes.
Because when you're in a relationship, there's more than just you. So the idea of you being alone with
Mhm.
more than just you, it doesn't fit.
That makes sense.
It
I just got
doesn't
through
work.
talking to David. I forgot David's last name. He had a near-death experience. I threw a question at him before he went to Denver to Chicago to be part of a program up there that has to do with talking to people who have near-death experience. Very unique man. Might get him on the show one of these days. And I asked him a question: do you really die alone? Because someone in turn made this statement out in the Facebook world that you come into life alone and you die alone. And I asked David, because you had a near-death experience. I said, David, do you die alone? And if you don't die alone, do you remember your relatives? Do you remember your mate? Do you remember those people at all? Do they talk to you? Do they connect with you? And Dave asked me, like he does a lot of times, gave me a question with my question I asked him instead of answer. He said, do you think a baby in its mother's womb, do you think that in turn it doesn't know, it doesn't hear anybody else, so it's in that womb by itself?
That answers that question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we should know we are created
Mhm.
not to be alone. We were created because we all are connected,
Yes.
and our experience is connecting with others to know this.
Yes.
Letting go or what? Oh, I'm sorry, I stopped you. Where were you at?
The survival story repeats
Mm-hmm.
even when traditions have changed. That's another one of the lineage patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So you can live financially and materialistically better than your parents, but you still find yourself in the same or similar situation, repeating the things that you grew up with, the things that you saw, the things that you heard. So the conditions change, but the story repeats itself because it's in your lineage.
Yeah, sometimes said that's a family curse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that curse. Women's truth. Letting control feels what? Risky. Women out there, sisters out there, I know you've been hurt. Many times you've been burnt by brothers, and it's hard for you to in turn start again. Though Ayana Vazam's book called what?
In the meantime.
In the meantime, it's a very good book to in turn help you start all over, to be able to love yourself again in such a way that you got that love to be able to give it back, to share it. Actually, the better word is just really share it, to be honest with you. But letting go of control feels risky. Now, notice when we say control this one, it doesn't feel bad. It doesn't sound like it's bad because now we attached a woman to it in this case. Because if you put it as a man's truth, letting go of control feels risky. They would say, what's a man doing and being in control anyway?
Yeah.
That's why I've always don't use the word control, because it's looked upon differently in and when it's attached to a different to a male or a female.
Right.
It should be, as I say, control means direct influence. And in a relationship, we know we should have some kind of influence.
Yes.
Not indirect, but we should have some kind of influence. Hopefully, if it's direct, it's because of mutual what? Consent. But if there's no influence on one another, you don't even have a relationship, let alone a balanced relationship. So anyway, letting go of having some influence feels risky, especially if you've been hurt before, especially if you've been open before, whether it's a man or a woman, no doubt about it.
Exactly.
But healing means I can trust where what?
You can trust trust what's here, not just what history wants.
Say that again. That's very, very good.
You can trust what's here, not just what history warns.
Wow.
So, you look back at history, and history is saying, beware, this is what the outcome could be. And rather than dealing with what the outcome could be based on history, you focus on, this is what we have here today.
Yeah.
Let's work from today.
Yeah. And sometimes
almost like a clean slate.
Well, I wouldn't say so much as a day clean, even though the Gullah-Geechee people do call day clean a new day to start all over again. But they do make sure that night before that you make sure that you do your apologies and all that good stuff, so that when you start cleaning in the morning, you got nothing that you're carrying with you.
Right.
Okay, from that end.
Right.
But more than that, it does also mean that you don't try to use signs in that relationship to say, that's my warning, so I can stay risky, because sometimes you could be creating those signs.
Yes.
I call it that, see, I told you so, brother, or see, I told you so, sister. They create those signs. They'll look for those signs. Yeah. They will actually set up those signs to happen. So then in turn, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even intentional. They don't even know they're setting it up, but because they have this tape playing in their subconscious, the movements that they make and the things that they do lead to that.
Exactly. And so that warning not only becomes quickly, but the warning is, I've been waiting for this all the time.
I knew it was coming.
I knew it was going to come to pass.
Yeah.
From that end.
Yeah.
Sally, many times when it comes to Black love, that is a strong not motivation, but a strong mindset. We got through talking about how a lot of Tyler Perry movies are like that.
Yeah.
You could just tell it's going to roll that way every time. Mostly. I haven't seen one yet. He wrote it differently.
You can tell it's going to roll that way when you see his name associated with it.
Yeah. Which is really, really sad from that end. It becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. But I think that's many times done because his majority of his customers are African-American women, and he utilizes that particular image so that in turn he can be able to continue to make his movie, to make his profits.
He did for years. He definitely plays to the stereotypes, but
I think that seed that he keeps on continuing to plant is a seed that's part of what has been designed in this particular country
Mhm.
anyway in the first place,
Yeah.
to basically keep us at odds with one another,
Right.
not operating in a balanced way, so that we won't try to be power couples in our relationships,
Mhm.
and in turn build good communities for us.
Yes.
And build a legacy that our children can also feel comfortable about doing too. I think a lot of
Absolutely.
young people are trying to do that differently now,
Mhm.
no doubt about it. And I think taking the journey, what we're trying to present, or help out some of those young couples, and some young couples already know that, are
Yeah.
trying to move that direction,
Right.
whether they're not trying to do what their parents did. And so good for them, so glad for them too at the same time. And that gives me hope. I know it hopefully gives you hope too at the same time, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, what's our last segment we're going into?
Speaking truth.
Speaking truth. Wow. Malcolm X lens plus speaking. She didn't even say the Malcolm X lens.
That's
She just
because-
said speaking truth.
No, that's because I couldn't see
No,
it.
you just was scared of
No.
seeing. You got glasses on.
I
And
know.
it said lens at that. You
I
just
know.
scared
No,
to say
I've
Malcolm
got-
X lens.
Okay,
That's all it was.
I've got the wrong ones on.
Yeah, you do.
I got the wrong glasses.
Yeah,
on.
you definitely do.
Yeah.
But you keep it all up to this time.
Yeah.
But I'm clearly going to help you out. That was
Yes.
Malcolm X lens
Yes.
plus speaking the truth. Malcolm
Yes.
X frames this: the system profits when black homes are divided, which is something I was talking
Mhm.
about. If he is always the fixer and she is always the assumed leader, that's not partnership. That's exploration dressed up as survival. You want to say it again? I think you say
Yes.
it to me. But
The whole thing.
yeah, please.
The system profits when black homes. This is the Malcolm X framing.
Mhm.
The system profits when black homes are divided. If he is always the fixer and she is always the assumed leader, that's not partnership. That's exploitation dressed as survival.
Wow. What do you think about that one?
That is truth and a mouthful.
Okay,
That
how
is
is
truly
that? I
speaking
mean, we
truth.
already know that most of those who were used mostly out of slave hands, also too, we know through prisons after was it Reformation or whatever it was?
Reparation.
No.
Reconstruction.
Reconstruction. What reconstruction? We know reconstruction was, but self using is part of the new construction.
Well, the reconstruction very quickly turned to deconstruction
exactly of our relationships, but
of life, of our lives.
of our lives, and
Yeah.
that would be our relationships.
Mhm.
That's what our
Yeah.
lives were built
Yeah.
on. Relationships still should be
Yeah.
in a balanced way, of course. So anyway, on top of that, basically he's trying to say that if in turn we continue letting our males being no more than the mules as they were set up,
Mhm.
and the black woman be nothing but the leaders in that relationship, then you could tell right there it becomes mostly what? It's an
Just-
exploration.
Yeah, exploitation dressed as
Exploitation.
survival.
I'm sorry, I said exploration. Wrong one. The exploitation is probably more exploration
Yeah.
to really try and take a look at.
Yes.
From that end, dressed up as survival, because
Mhm.
that's pretty much what it was before. It was survival.
Yes.
From that end, men's closing truth. You want to go into our truths now? How close are we? I guess we're pretty close to
Yeah.
finish this
Yes, we are. Men's closing truth. I am not your savior.
one. You
Or
reading it?
go ahead.
You want me to read it? Okay. Men's closing truth for the men's out there. She was going. See how that is?
Well, you you stopped, and so
I did on purpose to
you-
see if you were going to, in turn, not just be the assume that you were supposed to lead in the matter of for men's closing truth, but you did.
Yeah, well,
But you
usually-
did.
I did, because usually
You led right into
yeah,
it
I fell into the pattern.
with no problem.
I
That's the
did.
pattern that
I
you
did.
usually do too at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes.
I'm not your savior.
Thank
That's
you.
a lot of sisters in turn think when you in turn a brother tries to be more directly in influencer on the relationship, looking
Yes.
at things where he's trying to be a leader in a positive, uplifting way. In turn, he's looked upon as being what? You trying to be my savior. I don't need no
Yes.
savior. But every day that same particular person might go to a particular church with a white Jesus on there every day and think nothing about it. I'll go to a job where they're more submissive and more, yes, to the boss who's white. I mean, what the hell is that shit? Excuse my language from that end. Come on now. You stop that
Yes.
kind of madness, because that's what it is. It's
Exactly.
madness. So anyway, if I'm not your savior, okay, no, I'm not. I'm saying it to you personally too, or your cleanup man.
Mhm. Right.
I'll say it again, or your cleanup man. I'm here to be your partner,
Right.
my sister. You dig?
I did.
That's what I'm supposed to be. Fully faithful, for real. Okay. If my present is invisible, then what we have isn't balance. It's burden. It's a burden.
Yes.
And you don't like that kind of burden coming from me now, do you?
I don't
No,
like that
because
kind
even
of
if I'm not
burden
saying I'm
anyway.
still one of those ghosts who ain't friendly from
Right.
that particular standpoint of view. But in I can't build my spirit on false ground.
Right.
We can't build a spirit on false ground, and that'd be false ground. That's why we have many false kind of balanced relations. And we call them as being black love, but it's not. It's not.
And that's why we talk about strong foundations, because if something is not built on a strong foundation, it's bound to crumble.
Yes, and we got a lot of crumbling divorces going on right now, and especially in the Black community, and a lot of young people who see it, they know it, they're very smart enough to see it and know it, and so they're just doing situations. They're not even thinking about doing anything in the long run, which is not good in building a community and a society. It's not going to do well, especially when you have the outside overall a majority society that basically doesn't want you to exist, want to take away your history, want to take away anything that has to do with who you are as an individual culture wise, and have you assimilate in a culture that never really has made you felt that you were just as important from that particular end. So that's just not good.
Definitely. So
I'm not going to read yours.
Woman's cleansing truth. I honor your presence. I see the weight you carry. My independence was armor, but I didn't need armor with you. If I hold on too tight, I turn partnership into control. And I don't want to ride alone when I have a man who's here to walk beside me.
Wow. It was that a lot of men were like, ooh, can't believe that this went right through me. And I do know, and most men do, and those who are comfortable with themselves or trying to be more comfortable with themselves and want a relationship to be comfortable with us both, is that they know that control, when spoken that way, is not control. It is the definition I get, direct influence. And a male would give and be open to giving that female, their woman, their partner, more direct influence on them, if in turn it was presented that way. Many times the female already gets more direct influence when it comes to sexually wise, which is not the best energy to be utilized when it comes to connecting with one another. It's really not. The soul ties can really tie you up in an incorrect way.
Yeah, and at that point, it is being used as lower energy.
Yeah, exactly, or manipulation sometimes.
It's not the positive energy that sexual interaction can be. It's low.
Do it feel good? That's sometimes
a lot of things that aren't good for you feels good. You know, so that's just the way it is.
And again, the stereotypes that in turn said that we all work together, can work together. The challenge comes to that. They will merely say it doesn't feel good, so you don't try it.
Right.
When actuality, it's like getting off those bad diet foods that were no good. Once you start doing it, it's going to make your body feel uncomfortable because your body you're so used to that bad food. But once you start eating the food that's good for you, you find out you'll feel better than what you were even before.
Exactly.
Be something brand new. And that's the same thing we're talking about here in the balanced relationship, starting to really bind together in a true balance, loving relationship, like love relationship, not a false one. So what's our audience challenge? What's our audience challenge that we want to leave for them?
The audience challenge is this. Look at your love. Is it partnership, or is it a contract where one drives and the other rides? What will both of you do to rewrite that script together?
Yes. Let you both at the end be more like co-writers. Co-partners.
Well, I was going
low riders, then low riders.
No. Co-writers of the script.
Exactly. Co-writers of the script together. Well, until next time we hear from you again, God bless, Ashe, and take that journey together.
Yes.
like that.